this Gatsby-like figure of mystery.
He was stunningly rich. He had a $20 million house, his own private island in the Caribbean.
It has a nickname, the Pedophile Island.
In 2005, the Palm Beach Police Department received reports of young women going to and from his residence.
There was an ever-revolving door of girls.
Who else was underage?
All of them.
Okay, here's the thing. Everybody's talking about Trump this, Epstein that. We've watched live as the entire MAGA movement completely reversed their position. One moment it was, release the files, crooked Hillary murdered Epstein. Now it's all, and that's just a bunch of liberal nonsense. Epstein totally killed himself. Why are we even still talking about this? The hypocrisy is almost unbelievable. Not only is that dishonest, it's actually hiding something far more sinister. We need to ask ourselves, how come neither the Republicans nor the Democrats are willing to tell the full truth? Who are they trying to protect? To answer that question, we need to tell the true story of Jeffrey Epstein.
Could you please give us your name?
Jeffrey Epstein.
How long have you been sexually attracted to underage minor females?
Are you kidding?
Epstein started off as just a normal dude, just a chill guy. He was born to a working-class Jewish family in New York City. He was smart, but not particularly successful, and he actually dropped out of college in 1974. And that is where things get weird. This 21-year-old college dropout with no teaching experience gets hired to teach math and physics at the Dalton School. The Dalton School is an elite, highly selective Ivy League preparatory school. How did that happen? How did such an elite school hire some random college dropout? The answer is a man named Donald Barr. Barr was a Jewish author who worked for United States intelligence and was also the headmaster of the Dalton School. He hired Epstein after one meeting. Yes, that's right. The man who gave Epstein his first in to the world of the elites was a Jewish intelligence agent. If that seems like a weird coincidence, it gets weirder. Donald Barr also wrote a science fiction novel called Space Relations. It's this weird, perverted story about these ultra-wealthy space oligarchs who kidnap teenage girls as sex slaves. In one scene, a 15-year-old is raped by space pirates. In another scene, the main character rapes a teenage girl. Now, call me old-fashioned, but it's kind of creepy to write books like that, especially if you're the man who gave Jeffrey Epstein his first job. But it gets even weirder. Donald Barr's son, Bill Barr, was the attorney general who had Epstein arrested and declared his death a suicide. Like his father, Bill was an agent for US intelligence. What a crazy coincidence, huh? After working at the Dalton School, Epstein was hired by a man named Alan Greenberg, the CEO of the investment bank Bear Stearns. Working for Greenberg, Epstein starts to rise through the ranks. Epstein traveled all over the world, managing money for huge geopolitical players. One of those players was Adnan Khashoggi, the arms dealer who helped Israel pull off the Iran-Contra affair. For those who don't know, the Iran-Contra affair was a scandal in which President Reagan illegally gave weapons to Israel to be passed along to Iran. Why? Because Iran was at war with Saddam Hussein, and Reagan wanted to keep that war dragging on so that as many Iraqis would die as possible. There's something uniquely evil about funding both sides just to keep a war going, just to cause more destruction and suffering, but that's exactly what Reagan did. Israel helped him do it, and Epstein laundered the money. It was also during this time that Epstein met Ghislaine Maxwell, who, as we all know, became his partner in crime, helping him seduce and abuse teenage girls. Epstein met Ghislaine through her father, Robert Maxwell. Maxwell was born to a family of Yiddish-speaking Orthodox Jews in Czechoslovakia. During World War II, he fled to Britain and became a spy for British intelligence. But his loyalties were never really with Britain. He was a fervent Zionist, and during the 40s, he illegally smuggled weapons to Zionist militias in Israel. By the way, Lyndon B. Johnson also illegally smuggled weapons to Israel during the same time. So did Jack Ruby, the Jewish nightclub owner who killed Lee Harvey Oswald. But all of that's just a weird coincidence, I'm sure. It's pretty much a fact that Robert Maxwell was a double agent, ostensibly loyal to Britain, but really working for Israel. Our main source on this is Seymour Hersh, but there's also the fact that Maxwell, a British member of parliament who never lived in Israel, was given an Israeli state funeral, which every living Israeli prime minister attended. He was given a burial plot in Jerusalem on the Mount of Olives, and at his funeral, Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir said, quote, "This man has done more for the state of Israel than can now be told." That's crazy, right? I mean, imagine if he'd been given a Chinese state funeral and Xi Jinping gave the eulogy. This guy was obviously a traitor, and his daughter was Jeffrey Epstein's partner in crime. Epstein got his next big break in 1987, when Stephen Hoffenberg hired him as a consultant for Towers Financial. Towers Financial later turned out to be a Ponzi scheme which stole over $1 billion from its clients. But Epstein was never charged. It didn't matter anyway because he made enough money to start his own financial management firm, J. Epstein and Company. But what's even weirder is that Epstein's company only had one known client, Les Wexner. Wexner is a Jewish billionaire and the CEO of Victoria's Secret. You know that song that's like, I know Victoria's Secret, she's an old man that lives in Ohio? That song is about Les Wexner. He is insanely rich and has very powerful connections. In 2008, he traveled to Jerusalem with George W. Bush to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the creation of Israel. His Wexner Foundation, which was created with the help of a rabbi, is dedicated to promoting Jewish leaders. Just a weird side tangent, in 1985, New York Magazine asked Wexner how he got so rich, and he responded, "I'm not kidding," that he was possessed by a demon that drove him to make more money. He said that the demon had his exact same face. Probably just a joke, but I don't know, that's a pretty weird joke to make. It's like too detailed to just be a silly joke. Wexner also created the Study Group, a club of Jewish billionaires dedicated to promoting Israel by funding projects for Israeli intelligence. They were very connected to the Mossad. That's right, the guy who created the Study Group, a group that worked with Israeli intelligence, just happened to be Epstein's only known client. Epstein and Wexner had this weird, almost marriage-like relationship. Wexner gave Epstein a house. He made Epstein the director of Wexner Foundation, and he even gave Epstein power of attorney. For those who don't know, giving someone power of attorney basically means that they own everything you own. They can do just about anything with your estate that you can do. Power of attorney is normally for like if you're becoming incompetent. For instance, my grandfather was going into dementia, so he gave my dad power of attorney so that my dad could manage all his affairs, get everything settled, pay for the nursing home, etc. But Wexner just gave it to his friend Epstein, who he'd known for a couple years. That's not weird at all. In 2005, it came out that Epstein was abusing teenage girls. He would bring them to his home and offer them money in exchange for sexual favors. The police did some investigation and they found 40 witnesses with collaborating stories. Easiest case ever. So they locked this guy up for decades, right? Not exactly. Instead, Alexander Acosta, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida, offered Epstein a plea deal. And let me tell you, this was the schmooziest, sweetest deal of all time. Epstein only had to serve 18 months in prison. That's right, after everything he did, he only got 18 months. And it gets worse. He had his own wing in the county jail, and his cell door was left open. He was allowed to leave for 12 hours a day, and he only had to stay the night 6 days a week. I want to go to jail. I mean, come on, free stuff and you get to leave whenever you want? Okay, so how did this happen? How did Epstein, a child predator, get such a sweet deal? Alexander Acosta was asked that exact question years later and responded, quote, "I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone." Just a fun side note, Epstein's team of lawyers included a couple names we've all heard: Steven Pinker and Alan Dershowitz. For some strange reason, the police never took Epstein's passport. So, while he was awaiting his sentence, he fled to, you'll never guess which country, Israel. He also moved all his money there. In 2019, Epstein was arrested again. The FBI searched his home and found hundreds of photographs of naked girls, many of them underage. They also found a fake Austrian passport with Epstein's photo and a fake name. If that doesn't scream spy, I don't know what does. According to his lawyers, Epstein had needed a fake passport because, quote, "as an affluent member of the Jewish faith, he was in danger of anti-Semitic attacks. Epstein was charged with sex trafficking, but as we all know, he died in prison before he could even go to trial. Okay, here's a few simple, uncontroversial facts that every mainstream source would concede. 1. Epstein was not supposed to be left alone, but the night before he died, they transferred out his cellmate. 2. The night he died, the guards failed to check on him every 30 minutes and falsified the records to hide this. 3. 2 of the cameras in front of his cell stopped working. 4. Epstein's lawyers asked for the camera footage they did have, but this request was denied. Why? If there's nothing to hide, just show the video. What possible reason would you have to hide that video if there's nothing there except Epstein, wrapping a rope around? A few weeks ago, when the Trump administration finally released the video, it was edited with a couple minutes of missing time. We are obviously being lied to. If you're still denying that, then you're just so unbelievably cucked that I can't even talk to you. The only question is, why? Who is it that both the Trump administration and the Biden administration had a vested interest in protecting? I think the answer to that question is obvious. It's Israel. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that Epstein worked with Israeli intelligence. At every single step in his career, he was given opportunities that he really did not deserve by wealthy and powerful Jewish men. Barr, Greenberg, Maxwell, Hoffenberg, Wexner. We know that Epstein was friends with Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. Over the years, Epstein donated at least $3 million to Ehud's campaign, and even let Ehud stay at his house. According to Newsweek, the two met, quote, dozens of times. In 2008, while Epstein was in Israel, he met with several Israeli scientists and toured several Israeli military bases. In 2015, he invested in an Israeli military startup. This video is not supposed to be some sort of anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, okay? It is just a known fact that many wealthy Jewish people in America have a strong loyalty to Israel. And look, I don't blame them, okay? They're just doing what's best for their ethnic in-group. I have a lot of respect for the Jewish people. They are very intelligent and hardworking, and they deserve to be successful. But let's not be naive. Let's be adults here. There is a circle of powerful American Zionists who openly use their wealth and influence to push the Zionist cause. It's not that all Jews, or even most Jews, or even many Jews are involved in this, but there is an elite circle of people with Jewish heritage who, because of that heritage, have an affinity and loyalty to Israel. They openly work with the neocons, with AIPAC and the ADL to control American politicians and manipulate American foreign policy. Over and over and over, they have put Israel's interests above America's, causing American boys to be killed in the sand wars. Go watch my video on Saddam Hussein, okay? It is incredibly obvious what happened behind the scenes. There is a fifth column, and Epstein was very clearly part of it. Hello friends, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment. Just say anything, literally anything, and that will be a huge help for the algorithm. If you really like my videos and you want to help me out, consider joining my Patreon. You'll get a shout out in every video, you'll get to join my elite Inner Circle Discord server, and you'll get to join our weekly video calls, where you can talk with me and the boys about philosophy and history and politics. It's a great time. My patrons have genuinely changed my entire worldview on many, many issues. If you want to join that dialectic and shape my opinions and shape the future of this channel, join us. Look, all it costs is $1 a month. That adds up to $12 a year, which is nothing. That's like an hour of work. In exchange, you get to be my friend forever. If you pledge $5 or more, you'll get access to the Arthur Greenwood archive. These are my old videos that were just a bit too controversial for YouTube, including my really old videos from when I was like a democratic Vaushite socialist. There's even the hour-long debate I had about anarcho-capitalism. So, if you're interested in the deep Arthur Greenwood lore, you'll definitely want to check that out. Thank you to my current patrons: Benjamin, SEAL Team, Wesley, Liam, Woodson, Honorary A, Contranock, Bennett, The Goat, Wise Mythical Stone, our resident meme dealer, Karthik, our resident Kshatriya, Piedar, Lexus, Medi, Temp, Carter, Aiden the Astronaut, Lucaso, Texan Tetra, Jake, Mark, my buddy Seb, Danis, Brandon, Yendor, the resident Unk / Kangaroo Whisperer, Dan, the resident statistician, Eric, Maxim, Sun Tzu, Larry, Atlantean Squidweird, King Crypto, Philip Von Filbert, Gerald the Brotherly Friend, he's a real one, Total Nicked Elmo, and TDW, the OG. You guys are the best. Thank you all so much. Love you all. Everybody click and watch this video right now, and I'll see you there. God bless America.